I don't mind repeating some of the things I said the last time I spoke on this, but I do want to wholeheartedly support this amendment on the basis that it does give us a meagre opportunity to address the issues on behalf of the 24,000 survivors who are excluded, cold-heartedly excluded from the scheme. And I don't know if you think that way or if you think you need to give them a reason why, but you've never given a reason that's acceptable why you have excluded people who are 6 months or less in the homes. 6 months of your life doesn't matter. The separation, the trauma of what happened to you and your family doesn't matter for the rest of your life. It's absolutely unfathomable trying understanding what you're doing. What it looks like is the work of a cold-hearted accountant whose main job is to minimise the cost to the state. It's funny we're revisiting this theme again, having visited over and over again in this Oireachtas in the last 2 days in the shape of a denial of redress and compensation to people who are in old folks' homes or people who suffered with disabilities. Sorry, nursing homes I should have said, or people who suffered with disabilities. There is a theme that runs through this, from Bridget McCall to cervical check to nursing homes and now to the survivors. The state scrapes and scrubs on looking after ordinary people, and it is disgraceful. And yet the Minister will come in another day and boast of the billions that we have in reserve because we're doing so well. We've got great multinational companies here and we do so well on corporation tax, but we deny ordinary people their rights. This is outrageous and there's a huge amount of anger in relation to it. I'm sure you've been getting hundreds of emails like I have, like everybody else in this chamber has been getting over the last couple of days in relation to this. And it's almost like you can feel survivors are gasping for air. This is their last chance for somebody to listen, to do something for them. And some of the emails are really terribly, terribly sad and tragic, but mostly it's the anger that comes through. And the anger is speaking to you, and it's claiming that you claim that you pursue a twin tenet of acting with kindness and doing no harm. But they say, and in their words, this scheme excludes and exclusions are heaping abuse upon abuse. So even this discussion and this bill, which will be passed, I've no doubt, because the government have the majority, is another act of abuse. It's another act of, hurt, abuse, pain, ignoring people's real lives. And I'm really baffled, Minister, that you are not doing the right thing by the survivors, that you will not widen the redress, and that you accept that what you're doing is okay, that somehow it's acting with kindness or taking the interests of people at heart. It's not. It's all about saving money to the state. And at the same time, the state doesn't pursue the religious orders. And I mentioned this before, that the Bon Secours Orders, who's responsible for a huge amount of this pain, hurt and abuse, is now the biggest provider of private healthcare in the country and has lots of coffers, lots of land, lots of profits, and we still are looking at a meagre system of redress that is excluding almost 40% or probably around 40% of the people who suffered under this system. You are signalling a complete failure of the state to recognise the lifelong consequences of forced family separation, the loss of identity and the abuse that has meant to generations. And it is generations who suffer. It's not just the immediate survivors, but that suffering, that scarring is passed on as a sort of almost like a piece of DNA to other generations because it hurts so much and it leaves people in such isolation. So, this is our chance to raise those concerns, and I would hope that you will pass this very meagre motion, and fair play to those who have put in this amendment to say that we need that report, and that report feeding into it will give us a chance to revisit this again. What we would love is to scrap what you're doing, to, as has been said by previous deputies, to redesign a scheme that treats everybody fairly, equally and decently. And not to have to stand over this, not just for the rest of your lives, but for the rest of their lives and for all that the future may contain for them. I think this attitude runs through the government, through the state, and as I said earlier on, you can go right down a linear line from Bridget McCall through cervical check to the nursing homes and now this. And I think that the government should hang its head in shame and I would have expected better from you, not trying to personalise this, but I genuinely would have expected better from you. I would have expected you to throw all your toys out of pram until every single survivor was included and nobody left behind.